But you're the first person on the podcast that doesn't have a deeper voice than me.
You can just call me a girl.
You're a girl. No, but like even then, like I feel like when Hannah Brown eventually features, she's gonna have a deeper voice. Like my voice is just ratty and annoying.
I don't think your voice is ratty and annoying. I love listening to the podcast. I'm a huge fan.
Thank you. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like 50% of the reason that this podcast happened was because you were like, yeah, I'd listen to that. It was you and my friend Gibby over in America. He was like, Matt, you should start a podcast. And then I was like, okay.
Look, if you listen to the ramblings of a woman with ADHD, you will end up doing pretty much anything.
Yeah, to be fair. I put it off for like 2 years. And then I got this equipment, like dad was like, what do you want for Christmas? And I was like, nothing. I'm good. I have everything I want. And like the one thing I wanted last year was, you know what, let's get the family together. Oh wait, global
Definitely
pandemic.
Can't do that.
It was like, no. So I was like, okay, I'll just have some podcast equipment that I won't be able to use until people are allowed in my house.
But look, you started now. I do have to confess, I've missed the last 2 episodes because I've been without Wi-Fi and data.
What? Yeah, so why have you been without Wi-Fi?
Country. Liverpool.
Liverpool.
I basically moved cities again for the 3rd time in a year. Can't sit still apparently. But so I was with my recently ex-partner and he didn't have Wi-Fi because it's a house of boys. And then I wasn't in my Manchester flat, so I didn't have anything. And then I moved and then Vodafone was rude and I still didn't have anything.
Wait, why was Vodafone rude? What did they do?
Well, they said they'd plug it in. So when you move, you need to tell your Wi-Fi provider so they can basically send your internet to the new house, because that makes sense. I don't know. I failed all my GCSEs. Anyway, they said they'd send it.
Sorry, you said that so casually. I just was like, yeah. So, I mean, I don't think I failed mine.
I failed all of mine. Apart from like German, which...
Oh, of course. Obviously. Yeah. But for me, it was the opposite. I think I just about barely scraped it with all of them, but fucked it with German because I'm pretty sure I spoke French for half of the spoken exam.
You're just so multilingual that...
Exactly.
You couldn't control yourself. You should have got extra points.
That's what I was saying. To be honest, I should have just not pussied out of French and just stuck out with French because I enjoy French, no offense. The French language is like, you know, I mean, the cliche thing is to say it's romantic, but like, I don't know. I can watch French films and I can enjoy them. I like French music.
German doesn't have the same ring to it. I will take the L. But
German was like, my logic was like, German sounds like English, so I'm gonna take German.
My recent ex, he's French, so.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's been a lovely experience.
Not so recent ex could speak German. That's about it. She was like
that was her only
she was like
quality.
quadlingual or something. I felt really
so
dumb.
Cool.
No, she wasn't cool.
Okay, sorry, we hate her.
Let's put that to rest.
Sorry.
I was the cool one.
You're always the cool one.
No, that's not true. I'm the lame one.
No. I was actually and probably still want to actually introduce you to my recent ex, because we're still
boy.
Really good. Yeah, the guitar boy.
Oh yeah.
We're still really good friends, like really good friends, and I think the world of him, and I just think that he'd get on so well with the people I know.
Well, yeah, I think exes you can be friends with are great. I have an ex I'm really good friends with, and I'm actually so glad that we could get back to that being a friend.
Good point.
I think it's healthy to, especially, I mean, I don't know about your case, but in my case, it's healthy to realize the value of someone being in your life doesn't have to go from everything to nothing, you know. there's always misinterpretations of how you feel for someone. So being able to be friends with exes, I think, shows, emotional maturity for a start.
Yeah, I mean,
and communication skills.
Yeah, the communication between him and I is really, really good.
Top notch.
We love to see it. We really do. Do I still think he's being a bit stupid by not having me in his life in that role? Absolutely. But I also think I'm the centre of the universe, so...
Oh, yeah. I mean, when it comes
to...
If I had to write a short list of people in my life who have God complexes, you're not far from the top.
And I mean, not to fulfil that prophecy, but that's exactly where I belong.
Oh, well... the main reason I wanted to have you on, one, because I'm trying to be as inclusive as possible. So
I'm here to fill a quota.
First lady on the pod.
And I wear it with pride.
It's not just that, because I was really starting to fall into that kind of guy starts a podcast, thinks his opinion matters memes. And I was just like, this is me. It's like, I mean, one, I haven't even given any takes, I don't think, in the current episode so far. I just chat. But two, it's like, right, let's get some variety in. So we've done. Callum just scrapes my achievement of getting someone over 30. And we had Noah, young boy, and Tom, which was a close friend.
I really enjoyed the episode with Tom. He's got a really nice voice.
I mostly Tom. I have been picking a lot of my guests for their voice
quality.
It's like, ooh, you will sound good on a podcast. I will have you on.
I had a cold recently, so I do apologise. Not COVID, I made sure, but...
Yeah, thanks, because...
You're welcome.
Yeah, up north's got that wild variants and stuff.
Can't fault the north, though. I love it.
It's cheap.
It's cheap. The people are really sound. The culture's really nice. It's very...
I have a very limited experience of the north. The only place I visit a lot in the north is the most southern part of the north, which is Cumbria.
Nice.
the majority of it is gentrified.
That's why I left Manchester.
You either meet a bunch of farmers who hate you and think you're towny, or you meet someone who's trying to get money off you to sell you outdoor gear or take you up a mountain. But on top of that, I did have family in Manchester, so I have been to probably the worst part of Manchester, debatably Bolton. And I'm not a city person at all. So when I went to Bolton, I was like, oh God, there's a lot of things and a lot of stuff happening, and it's not really, to be fair, still not as bad as Birmingham.
Yeah, well, I mean, nothing could compare to Brum.
But I will dare to even say, I mean, yeah, Midlands, so Brum doesn't count. I think I've been to Leeds for 15 minutes.
Honestly, I think maybe that's as long as you should leave it. I do not have a particularly high opinion of Leeds.
My cousin, his friend, he's doing a I believe it's music theory or music tech degree in Leeds, and he speaks the world of that place.
I think that there's always a soft spot in your heart for the city you went to uni in. I went to Hull, for goodness sake. Am I allowed to swear?
You say whatever you want.
Okay, yeah, Hull's a shithole, don't get me wrong.
No, yeah. No, to clarify, the only thing I ban, well, I say ban, the only thing I try not to do on the podcast is to do second names and dox people.
Okay, well that...
But I've already said 2 people's second names on this podcast so far, so I'm doing terribly.
You're breaking your own rules.
Yeah. It's when everyone's got the same name and I have to try and clarify them, But anyway...
Small town living.
Speak the cultural epicenter of the UK, Hull.
I love Hull. I think it's fantastic. I think it's amazing. But I am also aware that it is Hull. You can't even describe it any other way. Like, it's just not. It's not a city in the way that Manchester is, or London, or even Birmingham. Like, there isn't really anything there apart from student culture, which isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah.
But it is missing things to do. We have an aquarium. I never went.
I've been there, the Deep. Mate, it's actually sick. I remember, I mean, to be fair, I can't say I remember too much because I think I was like 8. But I do remember being absolutely blown away, and I got a t-shirt
You got a
there,
t-shirt.
and I love that t-shirt.
To be fair, next time I go back, I really should make myself go, because it's like one of the biggest things to do in Hull, and I just absolutely missed it by a mile.
Yeah, well, my mum's, I don't know what Hullish.
Hullish.
Hullwegian.
There is a term, I can never say it though, I've googled it multiple times.
What is it?
I want to say like Hullensian, but that's absolutely not
Hulsh.
right. Hulsh.
Well, my mum's Hulsh, to an extent. I think the only relative I visited who was in Hull was my great grandma on my mum's side, and the only thing I remember is she had like it was a carton, but it was made of plastic and it was reusable. So it was like a square,
milk carton.
yeah, it was like a weird square
carton.
juice carton, but it was actually plastic, and it was that weird yellow plastic.
Oh yeah, vintage plastic.
Yeah, basically. I remember she had that, and I know I've got video. Well, I found videos somewhere of me running around that garden of hers when I was like 4 in no clothes. I remember some weird pubs.
Oh yeah.
Like proper locals pubs.
Yeah, I remember being sat in a pub I'm assuming some of my friends will listen to this, so they will actually know where I'm talking about, but on Beverley Road in Hull, sat in a pub, and I looked out the window and I watched a man open and then down one of those medium-sized bottles of vodka, and I just put the lid back on and put it on the floor and walk away, and I was knocked sick,
nice.
To be honest. But that's a very like baseline standard for the people in Hull.
Yeah, see, that would be me as a local, but instead of vodka, it was like a bottle of Gaviscon. Like, that's something
you need that heartburn gone.
Yeah, ASAP. Well, my heartburn relapse actually hasn't been too bad, so I haven't drunk much Gaviscon recently. But yeah, Hull, I only ever think of Hull when I have weird, feverish childhood dreams. But I mean, even the name of the place.
Yeah, it's arse end of nowhere as well.
Do you remember Ashley's party when we were just shouting like fuck and then different town names? Yeah. I drove past Rotherham for the other day. And literally, I just wanted to message Joel, just shouting, fuck Rotherham. What a throwback. And just like, you just drive, like, so you drive up to Lake District, and Lake District's got great town names, you know. I mean, it's got some pretty bad ones, but a lot of them is like, you know, Keswick, you know.
Oh, sweet.
And Borrowdale, Stonethwaite, all of these really cute names.
Fairy tale names.
But to get there, you're driving past, like, Scunthorpe, Grimsby.
Hey, look, don't knock Scunny. I quite like it. Is it also a shit? Maybe I just have a thing for living in really awful places, because I have now moved to Liverpool. And I love Liverpool as well, but it's also not...
How far is Liverpool from Blackpool?
An hour and a bit.
Blackpool's fucking horrible.
Fucking shit. Me and my friend Dylan went to Crosby, which is also shit, but less shit. And then we were like, oh, we've got the rest of the day to kill. What should we do? Let's go to Blackpool. Neither of us have ever been. We were like, oh, everyone from school used to go to Blackpool on their holidays. Literally got there, got out the car. Oh my fucking God. Could not leave quick enough. The joy that was felt leaving Blackpool will never ever match the joy anyone feels in Blackpool, because what the fuck was that? You're going to get so many hate comments of people that take this person.
This is turning into just us just randomly hating on towns. But one of the things that gets me, it's almost a phobia of mine, is like dishevelled past their prime, like seaside towns. It's terrifying.
It's purgatory.
Like, my only examples that I've been to is Great Yarmouth. That place is wild.
I know I've been, but I can't remember.
I think, is that Norfolk?
Yeah, I think so.
I even felt it, like, it doesn't technically count, but Southwold, which is like this tiny.
Where's Southwold?
It's the same place really, but they've got like a pier, and it's just like, I remember like the only thing I enjoyed about that place is when it was really bad weather whilst we were there. You go on the pier, and the pier is so shit you can feel it moving as the waves hit it, and it's like the adrenaline rush of potentially
falling into the ocean
and dying was like the best part of that, of visiting Southwold.
The best part of Southwold was near death.
Literally.
Any release was release.
But then there's like, I like places like, I think shout out like Aldborough, something that like they lean into the fact that like all they've got going for them is fish. That's it. I don't think I can even like they have a fish. Well, when I was younger, they had a fish and chip shop, but then they like that. There was like I think there were like 4 different types, but there was one that was like the GOAT, and everyone would go for that. Like, that's the real deal.
The pinnacle.
And there would be like a line. People would wait for it to open. Last time I went, me and Louis went, and all of them are now that they've monopolized and bought out all of the fish and chip shops. Fish and chip shops. Fuck's sake, it's gonna be one of them. I'm like so fatigued from the weekend, but I can't even talk. But yeah,
I'm not surprised.
Like five. I think there may be 3 or 4 chip shops, all under the same company. All of them like 20-minute like wait of lines outside of them
for fish and chips.
But it's worth it.
Yeah,
IMO.
Yeah. To be fair, places with reputations where this actually like lives up to it is always worth it.
But yeah, that place I've got cute memes of that place. I also like visiting Sizewell, but that's literally because like there's a nuclear power station there, and something just gets me well excited about being near a nuclear power station.
Such a nerd.
It's just like, ooh,
danger,
crazy, spicy stuff happens there. Ooh, nuclear fission happens in there. That's crazy. You know, I'm gonna stand near it. Like, there's a distinct memory of me and my cousin like walking up to the fence of Sizewell, just like my grandparents were like getting a coffee in town, and we were like, fuck it, shall we see how close you can get to the power station? We were right up at this like perimeter fence, and these like 2 like private security guys come up to the other side of the fence, and they were like, they just like were like, what are you doing? Like, you're not trying to come in here, are you? And we were like, no. And then like, I think I remember I'm pretty sure I cracked a joke. I was like, yeah, I'm looking for a nuclear reactor. And he was like, nah. They both literally like, you know, full bulletproof, had a gun.
That's hot.
It was pretty sick, to be fair. And they were both like huge.
Maybe I should go there, find a man.
Yeah, Sizewell security team. That's
my blueprint.
That's your next. Tie that into a dating site somewhere. That will help you out. Anyways, enough of seaside
chatting shit
about like we're gonna get shouted at for calling out any town, because the amount of ones we talked like in that party was like, I think we just went in on every town possible.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, fuck Rotherham. I still haven't been. We'll never go.
There's nothing there, so you're really not missing much.
Is Joel not there? No, he's probably here, I'm assuming.
I haven't a clue.
Didn't he go? I don't even know what the context was.
I have not kept up with anyone in a very long time. Apart from like you, Ashley, obviously all the Risleys keep up with. I've just last named someone. Shit.
Yeah, it was gonna happen.
But it's them though. They're all iconic. What are we gonna do?
Icons. Maybe we should shout out Rose Hair and Beauty.
Oh, I literally went and got my haircut there the other day. This sounds like it's now a sponsor.
Right, yeah, quick spot. This is actually The first official sponsor of the Nightcall podcast is Bo's Hair and Beauty.
And honestly, we're privileged.
I mean, we both. She's cut my hair before.
Every time I come home, I will not betray her. She does it fantastically every single time.
I feel so bad because like I hear through hairdressers that I have like the worst hair to cut.
In what sense?
It's just straight, heavy, and like not fibrous, if that makes sense. Like too soft. Like I don't
like a baby's hair.
Yeah, I got baby hair. Like as the exact opposite of Tom's, for example, which is nice, and like he hates his hair.
And Tom's got lovely hair.
He's got a great like just those like wiry curls that are like you try and pull them and they bounce back. It's just perfect.
Gorgeous.
Mine's like I got called out for straightening my hair like through school. I was like my hair's never been through a straightener.
You have like actual straight hair.
I
feel like that's quite rare though.
Yeah, and it's annoying for like because like obviously the hairdresser has to be extra precise because it's all going to sit like flat. You know. That and I always ask for weird as fuck haircuts.
I mean, I really like your hair right now. I'm a big fan. We're looking at a mullet.
I think it needs a bit of saving. It's a bit like half overgrown, half not. My aunt, she's also a hairdresser, was the last person to have a go at it. And she was like, is that okay, Matt? I was like, no, it's fine. Literally, I have like before her, I'm pretty sure the last person to cut my hair was my sister. Whilst she'd had, we went to visit like in that random no lockdown space last year.
Yeah.
While she was like still at Bath, and I ended up dyeing my hair bright orange, and then she just cut it, and I'm pretty sure like it was just eyeballed, no mirrors, like.
Lucky your sisters are creative though, so it can never be that bad.
Yeah, I don't. Like, I'll trust my sister. I won't trust her friend Izzy. I can't remember if we let her have a go at the hair.
People keep assuming I'm a hairdresser at the minute. Like all of my ex-partner's friends in his house, they've come to me like, "Oh, can you do this?" Like I have a philosophy degree. I've never cut hair in my life. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, it's like, no, hair's not stoic enough for me. I can't help you.
It's not existential enough. If it's not crying, I can't help it.
I can. Yeah. I don't even know. Like, what is the like? Is there like a daily life skill that it helps you? What that your degree has helped you in?
Honestly,
I know I'm saying that in a way that almost completely obliterates your degree, but like.
No, I'm very aware that philosophy is simultaneously something that everybody understands, but also nobody actually knows what it is.
Yeah.
The biggest thing it's taught me is it's going to sound like so bullshitty, inspirational, but to not give a fuck.
Oh yeah.
A little bit nihilistic, little bit. Nothing really matters.
Nothing really. Yeah.
And I mean, it's you don't like. But then again, I have quite a personal philosophy of life where that's very much the central part. It's not giving a fuck. So, but I'll push that on as many people as I possibly can.
What's your opinion on like? Because at the moment, I think we've got this huge wave of like, I don't even know how to explain. Self-help kind of affirmations.
Who's the guy? Do I mean Russell Brand? Shit hair, shit British
Guys just chat
chats shit.
Chats a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Says like he's like, I even
Yeah.
Wears,
I have him
wears like
blocked.
women's blouses, I think.
Yeah, I have him blocked on literally every single social media because I can't stand him because of the philosophy that he spouts, which is principally self-help philosophy, which is completely fine. But I think that there's such a I think philosophy comes at such a little midway point between an understanding of life and actual therapy. So if you try and use philosophy to fix mental issues and stuff like that, you're just putting a plaster on something that's actually quite different. But if you use philosophy to give yourself an understanding or multiple understandings of how life could be or how people are, or, you know, aspects of life that you've potentially not thought of, then I think it can be quite prosperous. It can help you figure things out. But it is, you know, it doesn't fix things necessarily, but it brings awareness to them.
Okay, so would you say that there's a harmony between philosophy and psychology, but not necessarily neither of them lean on the other?
Yeah, I think so. I think that a lot of philosophers are probably quite mentally unwell.
Yeah, well, what is it like? I mean, I've just watched, well, I say just watched, quite recently I've watched a film called Another Round. I don't know if you've heard of this.
Not heard of it, no.
So, I can't remember the director. It's a Danish film. Mads Mikkelsen, if you know him.
A name rings a bell, but brain empty.
Such a great guy. Any Kino fan will probably be fuming that you don't know who he is.
I'm so sorry, everybody.
I'm trying to think, like, the most mainstream thing I can probably say is he's the bad guy in Casino Royale.
I've not seen Casino Royale.
I feel like for your own integrity, I should cut out that last.
No, it's fine. Look, I'll explain myself. I had a very granola childhood, okay? I barely grew up with a TV or a radio, so the majority of things actually fly pretty far below my radar. If anyone wants to complain to my parents. I send them my therapy bill.
The most granola my childhood got was that my mum and dad wouldn't let me watch Toonami, but that's about it.
I literally don't know what that is.
You're missing out.
I'm so sorry. You should send me a list of things I have to watch.
I mean, I've given you good film advice, film recommendations in the past.
True. I do come to you for advice on good art.
Yeah, which is hilarious because I don't feel like I'm very artistically inclined.
I think that's really funny because I literally think of you as one of the most artistic people I know.
Well, so my fear is I'm going to talk, because I want to talk a lot about philosophy with you, but I'm just an idiot who's read a couple books.
I feel like an idiot, but I'm not. I start my PhD in January. Ooh.
Well, so
I think I've just reached the point now where I think I have imposter syndrome, where I'm just like, but do I know what I'm talking about? You
figured out that there's actually no jobs for
it's the
someone.
Fear of unemployment.
So you're like, fuck it, I'm just gonna keep doing it.
No, I do genuinely love it. Thank God. Oh my God. Imagine committing this far. That would be awful. No, I love it. I really love it. Do you want me to talk about what I specialise in? I can tell you everything I know.
Tell me everything. Do a tier list of your favourite philosophers.
Oh, I can't do that. I can do areas of philosophy.
I want you to say the names of certain philosophers first, because I've never had to say them out loud, and I'm scared to mispronounce a lot of them.
You should have written them down. I'd read them out for you. You can send me a text.
Well, right? The only one, because I still haven't finished off what I was talking about with Another Round. But yeah, because I rewatched Another Round recently, and that's about the existentialist philosopher, my favourite philosopher, Soren, I know that bit's right.
Mm-hmm.
Kierkegaard. Mm. He's Danish.
Don't point at me. I don't know.
But I assume he's Danish. It's a Danish film, but
it sounds right.
They shout him out a lot in that film. And a lot of his stuff gets spoken about, and I think the underlying tone of the film is based around his philosophy. Original writings in the Either Or.
I do. So I focus a lot on contemporary issues.
Yeah.
So I know it's almost like I'm trying to fix the world with my God complex.
Oh, you're a superhero.
So the impression I've gotten from Kierkegaard is that it's quite bleak philosophy. He's not a particularly happy philosopher per se. Not many of them are.
Would explain a lot,
especially the men. But
I'm sad as fuck.
Bring it up at your next therapy session. I think the reason
I
I'm
actually-
depressed is Kierkegaard.
I do. Me and my gal, we talk a lot about. I should not say my gal about my therapist. Me and Joe, shout out Joe. She, I can't remember. I feel like I end up schooling her a lot on random philosophers that I like. Just manifest a couple. Read a couple of quotes and I'm like, oh yeah, and I read it in a book and I'm like, oh yeah, and then like, but it's always I noticed I find my own interpretations because with Kierkegaard a lot of people do find because he's existentialist, life, nothing matters, everything's horrible. I was literally reading a quote the other day, which was just literally him saying how you will never be 100% content with you'll never be happy is basically what it is.
I mean,
and it was
not
like
wrong.
reading it, I'm like, man, this is so true. And then it's like, oh man, this is so
This
true.
is so true. Yeah, it's having those philosophical moments where you read something, you're like, that's very interesting. And then it sets in and you're like, oh my God, nothing matters. Life is pain. No, I love it. I mean, I don't love it, but I love it.
So when you say contemporary issues,
So
do a tier list of your top 10 contemporary issues.
find the top 10 issues right now. No, so I...
Famine.
That definitely ranks top 5 for sure.
Welcome to Watch Mojo. Sorry, continue.
Let's see if I can first. So I focus my study on feminist philosophy is like the foundation. Currently, I'm working in the area of philosophy of language. So right now, I read a lot about slurring and how we identify slurs. Matt's literally yawning already. I'm
looking
really
at you,
sorry.
And I'm looking at my Monstera right behind you, being like, "Ooh, I should water her at some point."
It is, I will say, philosophy of language is a very particular area.
I think I've I've accidentally like kicked my microphone and the computer, so if there was a lot of feedback, then I apologise. Continue.
Yeah, philosophy of language, reading a lot about slurs. It's a lot of
But specifically
logical.
slurs around.
Gendered slurs.
Yeah.
So currently, the theories that we have in philosophy of language surrounding slurs do not actually extend to include gendered slurs, which doesn't seem like that much of an issue because you'd assume people would just be like, oh, we'll include them anyway. No, that's not how philosophy works. Everything needs an argument and everything needs proof. So
Yeah, I mean, makes sense.
have to
I
go.
mean, philosophy is a science.
Yeah, well, that's actually very much up for discussion. You can.
That's also got
It's
an
social
argument behind
science,
it.
science, but also art. So
That's
fuck
keen
knows.
as fuck. Philosophy blurs the line between art and science. That's based. God, what is wrong with me?
it's the fatigue.
I am so. It's not even funny. I like every time I wake up in the morning, I have like this feverish like hour where I'm still kind of somewhat dreaming, and like my brain manifests voices. I don't know if this is something I should be telling my doctor.
I don't know if it's something you should be telling a podcast, but
Hi everyone.
maybe you should tell the doctor.
I hear voices now, but no, it's like Anyway,
like a dereality kind of
I
situation.
can't talk. Yeah, but not quite dissociation because I've done that before, and that's a whole horrendous.
I literally I think it was before we started recording. We were talking about counselling and stuff, and
you just dissociated right there and then.
I was like, "Fuck this, I'm out."
Top 10 dissociative moments.
No, I sat down with the counsellor. And I'm not gonna offload onto the podcast. That'll be a bit rough. But I was explaining.
That's the
things.
bonus episode, which I'm putting behind a paywall.
Patreon episodes of all of your guests offloading their trauma.
Pay £5 a month to hear all of my guests. I mean, when it bonus episode, I rank all my guests' trauma. They've all been through it.
It's bad, but it's not that bad.
Yeah. S tier.
Anyway, the point I was getting to is that my counsellor was like, oh my God, you have derealization. And I was like, yeah, I know.
And you're like samesies and you've high-fived.
Yeah, I think this is the only reason I've got this far in my academic career is because none of it's been real to me. So I'm just here.
So what's the difference between derealization and...
existential?
Sorry?
Overqualified and existential.
Yeah. What's the difference between derealization and dissociation? Are they different things?
I think they are, but I'm not entirely sure what the difference is.
I always feel, I think it's almost down, it's not, it's all in your head route, but like, how does someone know, how do you differentiate dissociative, like, how do you know
How do you know you're dissociated?
Because sometimes I sat there and been like, fucking hell, I feel like I'm like, if this is, I look up dissociating, I'm like, this could be what I'm doing. But then like when I actually dissociate and I actually describe it to a professional, they're like, no, that is dissociation. But then I'm like, did I just describe it in the right way?
Yeah.
That they then said it?
It's so hard to put things into words when it comes to like mental health and stuff, because it really is trying to paint a picture for someone else to get inside your brain.
Yeah.
And that's tricky.
Oh, that's why I'm still stuck in this situation. Every time I try and paint, I fuck it up. It's like, and yeah, I think like, because I always try and tell this I recommend therapy to everyone ever.
I was literally about to say everybody should go to therapy.
Like literally like therapy, and I was commenting, you know, I'm a Facebook mum, so I was commenting on Facebook earlier.
I'm aware.
I was making a big old comment to a friend of mine, cousin, I think.
You think?
Oh, yeah, second cousin.
Okay. I thought you meant like you started forgetting your family members.
No, I'm not quite there yet.
You're not reached that point.
But yeah, so they shared a post about therapy. So I did my usual, therapy is good, yes. And then I was like, I had this moment where I was like, therapy is literally, it's like a form of self-care the same way it should be going to the gym, seeing a doctor, seeing a physio,
100%. Have you seen, I think it's called Saint Maud, kind of horror movie situation?
Yeah, I've heard about this. My friend Beth invited me to go watch it, I'm pretty sure, and I politely declined because I just was like a big oof. It looked kind of, I don't think it was anything like First Reformed, but I watched First
just
Reformed.
Name another movie I haven't seen.
Oh,
sorry.
That would be good.
I'd like.
You should watch that.
I'll write that down.
I'm pointing to you a lot. I'm really sorry. That's rude.
That's fine. Matt just has issues talking to women.
That's what I'm literally terrified. Like someone's going to comment. It's just like you could tell he's talking to a girl because he's like.
Well, I.
You're the most annoying woman I could have had picked.
To be fair, I do operate on a very annoying level, but I frankly couldn't care less.
You do. You are doing glorified gender studies.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I am.
You could jump down my throat with anything that I might accidentally say.
Oh, it would be a pleasure. I thoroughly enjoy telling men off.
It's a good thing I don't see gender.
Okay.
Please, that was satirical. Oh God.
Well, apart from glorified gender studies, I was going through my emails today because Gmail messaged me and were like, you've used up 95% of your storage. I was like, I cannot believe that, but okay. Anyway.
You're lying, but fine.
Gmail literally said, fuck you, in the worst way possible, because I now have to go through all of my emails. But I keep finding ones so I did a course on philosophy of medicine, which was actually like very, very interesting. Not science-based, thank God. Again, I have no GCSEs. My actual grasp of reality is extremely loose. Derealization. And that. But yeah, like bioethics, I'm really getting into that at the minute. That's bioethics, ethics of biological things.
Is it bioepics?
Epic.
Like epics. So, yes,
Like abortion rights,
okay,
women
yeah.
in medicine, which is a whole kettle of fish.
Pro-life.
Of course you are. Mhm. He's a typical man.
Oh God, no! I fall into a trap of finding people's views so ridiculous. I will satirically, be like, yeah.
I think that everyone. So, I read a paper. I think it was by Mary Midgley. Please, if any philosophers listen to this, don't tell me off because I'll cry. But she wrote a little essay on how philosophy operates in life in the same way that plumbing operates in a house. So everyone knows that it's there and everyone has it, but no one can really fix it. You need to learn to fix it. And I really think that everyone could do with an education in philosophy, because you need to be able to think critically. What are you going to do when someone gives you an argument and you can't back yourself up? That's what pro-lifers have.
And I think this
They
is
can't read.
and I think this is even worse in a state where stuff like self-help is so willingly handed out amongst people.
Yeah.
People they end up leaning on the wrong information. And I found it really interesting when you shared a post on Instagram recently.
God. Oh dear, here we go.
The incel post.
Oh yeah.
Because I think like that, especially that culture. I mean, there's crazy amounts of like internalized misogyny and internalized masculinity and all that sort. But like a lot of it is revamped by this wave of self-help, and you have these particular self-help gurus. I can't remember a bunch of them. I don't 100% know, but I feel like names like Jordan Peterson come to mind. Of these people who like, if just because someone is shouting down a microphone in a stern voice doesn't mean what they're saying is gospel.
Yep. I think so. I have quite a specific view on incel culture, because not denying it exists or anything, or the causes or any of that, but I do think that it's been an issue for such a long time that's just not really been addressed. Like, there are cases of, I mean, let's be really brutally frank here, of incel terrorist attacks for years and years and years and years. But because it solely really is an issue for women, it is not, like, it's not really addressed as importantly as it should be. The incel culture is huge, and it is 100% a domestic terrorist threat, and I really do believe that. The causes and what have you, and the solutions that we can offer these people are broad, and you know, I don't think it would be easy for anyone to come forward and say that they identify with incel culture, but I think it's important for them to know there are people out there that wouldn't just tell them to fuck off, that there are healthy conversations to be had. But at the same time, on a government level of like addressing the issue publicly and bringing attention to it, it doesn't really seem like anybody gives a shit.
I mean,
it's a really hard one to like try and narrow down. We could sit here and talk about this for hours and try and unpack it.
I really want to talk about it in a way where I'm not gonna accidentally deliver a hot take. But so obviously a thing that comes to mind with me about this wave of incel culture, and specifically the way you describe incel terrorism, is the same way a lot of other terrorism happens, specifically religious terrorism, and that's extremity, and that's being 100%. Surrounded by a single opinion much.
If you feed your own opinion,
like,
it's not. That is what the self-help thing that you're describing is. It is. The only American thing to say is it's people sucking each other off.
Literally, and a thing. So I've there's a couple websites that come to mind, Reddit and 4chan are the two big ones. 4chan is the only one I've only had personal experience with, and you can see it on there. One, I think 4chan is an essential to anything, and I think a lot of people struggle with that, because 4chan is a place that it's completely anonymous. Well, I say completely anonymous. It's anonymous to an extent, unless you get your little hacking tablet, like little pink plonks out, and you can start backdooring and finding things, but it shows how raw and terrifying the world is when no one cares.
When there's no one to hold anyone else accountable.
When accountability goes out the window. It's terrifying. Like, so all you have to do is have people constantly opinion bouncing off each other, and they're all going to...
you're so right, you're so right.
They're going to elevate each other's shit. And then, it comes to... I can't remember the guy's name, but one of the most famous...
Rogers.
Elliot Rogers, 4chan poster. And I remember the days, and he's like... And he's unfortunately one of many. And all it takes, and it's the same with all terrorist issues, is there's a boiling point.
Yeah.
And if you can... I think it's less about neutralizing, because you can't neutralize everything.
No.
It's more about preventing, reaching that boiling point.
It's so I'm a massive true crime nerd. I love it. And it's really interesting to see how many cases of murder or terrorism or anything like that do actually begin online, where there's so many warning signs on the internet.
It's like, I mean...
But which there would be. It's the main form of communication now. Like, it's basically like an extended version of our minds at this point. Like, it's not...
Yeah.
You can't police the internet, and you can't stop people sucking each other off.
There's obviously internet censorship is another whole debate we could go down. But, I mean... Have you watched... No, I already need to retract that.
Go on, say it.
Have you watched Mindhunter?
Yes.
Thank you. But obviously, so like... And this is another thing, like, when's the line between when a gentleman is clearly a serial killer because he has some deep internalized issues, 9 out of 10 times it's incel culture related as well. And it's like... women don't notice me, or it's even deeper than that. Their mum treated them wrong or something. When does that line? Because a lot of when you go back into the history, what are a lot of these Ted Bundy incidences and these Ted Krasinski incidents? When do these start looking like this is actually incel terrorism?
I think. I mean, obviously there's no way to really say, but a lot of serial killers have head damage at a young age, like a very large percentage.
I mean, is it even someone who was raised well
who became a serial killer? I doubt it.
I mean, I don't think he counts as a serial killer, but anything, because someone who fans.
Go on, take it slow.
I can't talk today. Someone who I quite interested in what their whole deal was, slashes, because they are still alive, I think, is the Unabomber, Ted.
I think he's...
Because I think he only killed... I think he only killed 2 people, so I can kind of say he's interesting. But
I'm going to Google if he's still alive.
Yeah. I read the manifesto. Dude spoke some truth. He just had a really bad...
his IQ was mad high. He was a smart boy.
I think a lot of his childhood was...
He is still alive.
Not particularly crazy. I don't think he had any... Because, what is it... who's the big...
killer?
Big killer with a mustache. Pops up in...
The shoe one?
The shoe man. What was his name?
I will Google it. Shoe serial killer.
Because he did have a real twisted...
Yeah, I mean, you look at Fred and Rose West. That was the perfect storm. Jesus fucking Christ.
Indulge me. I'm not alt goth enough for this.
Just call me alt goth. So, I mean, okay, please, again, if I get this wrong, I'm so sorry. But Fred and Rose West both had really horrific childhoods. And honestly, it's pretty much socially agreed that Rose West was really the worst of the two, which is rare, obviously, to have a female serial killer that's out there, let's say. But, I think had they not met each other, there is potential that they killed a lot of people, a handful for sure.
At least 2.
more than 2.
Double
I was going to say
digits?
between... No, I don't think double digit. I think it's something like 8, 6 or 8 maybe. Still too many people to kill.
Rookie numbers.
You could do so much better. But yeah, I think if they hadn't have met, if they hadn't have like added fuel to the fire that was already within them, really, that probably wouldn't have happened. Or at least, there's no way to say like less worse crimes than murder, because the bar's pretty fucking high.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
And that's where we start comparing all sorts. But I mean, same as I mean, not the same, but there's a lot of like, I think that makes me think about. So obviously, we go back to Elliot Rodgers. Is by accomplice of just giving it like ramping his up, because he was putting videos out there online, and people were just pumping him up. By affiliation, it's the same. It's just almost the same deal. Like, so as you're saying, this couple wouldn't have been anywhere near as bad if it wasn't a couple, if it was just a girl.
Yeah.
Same thing with Elliot Rodgers.
If there wasn't other people feeding the fire,
exactly,
then
because that's what
wouldn't have been that bad.
Boiling point, boom, something crazy happens. But yeah, there's obviously, and I'm going back to the original thing here, which was like
incel terrorism.
Yeah, in like when the motivation is involuntary celibacy, it's obviously going to be a bit. It's a bit of a new term to the game, when all we've heard before was religious. This is a religious. This is a political thing. This is a religious thing. This is what men in suits and rooms talk about. So we're going to talk about this. Because and you're obviously right with the fact that the primary target is women. It's obviously going to get
not the amount of attention that it needs.
Exactly.
Literally this morning, I was on Twitter having a jolly old time, because I spend way too much time on my phone. It's literally like 10 hours a week. 10 hours a week? 10 hours a day.
Smashing incels.
Yes. I follow Caroline Carino Perez. That's definitely not how you say her last name. She wrote Invisible Women. Fantastic book. Talks about the data gap, where women basically just are not included in statistics or in social considerations. It's really good. I recommend it. But it turns out that since like, I'm going to say 2011, but that's definitely not the right year, but around then, the statistics of miscarriages has not been included in the maternity report of the UK. So they've not included statistics on women that are miscarrying, the extent to which, how damaging, things like that, in the maternity report, which absolutely should be included. But it's little things like that where it builds up and it builds up and it builds up, and it's like, although women don't seem to be operating in a society that is disproportionately against them, it is like, it's just, I mean, it's just an example of data bias and shit treatment of women, and
it's how systematic it is.
It
to
really
the point
is.
Where it's almost internally misogynized for women to not notice these statistics, and then all of a sudden it's like, actually, wait a minute.
Yeah.
This is not like.
Yeah, I mean, like, I will now consider myself a young adult woman, and things still happen where I have to sit there and I'm like, wait a minute, this is not actually what's meant to happen. Like, this is not something that should happen to anyone, But there are some shitty people out there.
Yeah, the world is pretty shitty.
But it's okay, because we're hot and clever.
Oh, I read like a really interesting thing the other day, which you can almost do it was a meme, but you could definitely do a philosophical take on it, which was this girl complaining that she wasn't get rich, live the American dream hot. She was get creeped on by my co-workers hot.
Bollocks.
And that, I don't know, something about that, I was just like, God,
it's so true.
we live in a society.
It's really hard. I was wondering if you were going to ask me any questions about sex work, to be honest. I thought that would be a logical route to go down.
I had a list. I don't want to. What's a nice way of saying can of worms? But you just have a lot that you can talk about.
It's called depth, darling.
Like when I was telling my mum, I was like, right, recording a podcast, don't, strangle the cat, wait until after the podcast to do that.
Keep it quiet.
And she was like, who's here? And I was like, Amelia, or is it Millie? No,
people down south tend to call me Amelia, to be fair.
It's stuck in my brain.
You call me whatever you want.
Oh no, I just named you live on the podcast.
Oh no, it's almost like everyone already knows all my secrets anyway.
But my mum was just like, oh, the whole girl.
The whole girl. I mean, shit, she's not wrong. What is the first thing I talked about?
I was like, oh no. But so you have a deep can of worms.
I mean, I'm very, very open to talk about quite literally anything, because I realise there's some pretty deep stuff interesting stuff.
I mean, no one actually knows who you are, so we won't worry too much about that. But
what do you mean? Everyone knows.
Our actual elephant in the room. For now, we won't talk about Libby.
Yeah.
But if we do an episode 2, and you want to, we can go down that route. It'll be very fascinating for me.
Yeah.
But no, we won't talk about that today. But yeah,
it's on the table as and when you want it.
I mean, so back to sex work though.
My favourite topic. Fucked. I also specialise in philosophy of sex. Thank you, everybody.
So obviously, as you are like, I want to say in such like a prime spot where I'm trying to find the right way to say it. Where
you think I'm pretty?
No, as in, because you're.
Just say it. Oh my god, I'm not going to kill you.
I'm not trying to avoid the topic. I'm trying to word it. I'm just.
You should get it out of the brain.
My brain's just like. Bleh, bleh. But I'm making a connection here. You're working with ethical issues, gender, blah blah blah, and you're also, and like obviously that goes down the route of misogyny with women, women hate, blah blah blah, sexual exploitation, blah blah blah, all those many topics which will always be something related to sex work, and you're also in sex work, so I've
got my feet in in both fields.
Yeah, fingers in both pies.
I don't know if now's the time to make a phrase like that.
I think I'm pretty sure every episode I've managed to make a finger in pies reference, so I thought I'd get it in now.
You need to do it now. It can become your thing.
The pie podcast.
Pie podcast.
But yeah, like, I mean, there's not many things I can immediately ask about sex work. That one, I don't want to come off interviewee, and I've already spoken about this in the past.
You want conversation.
I don't want to just be like, so what's it like? What's it like getting like old men like creeping on you? Is it like...
Do you know what? We can start there. Most of the time, it is not old men.
Yeah.
To the best of my knowledge, obviously. What
is your primary hosting site? What do you...
OnlyFans,
okay. Which is you're almost fucked for a minute.
Almost fucked.
They almost
got close.
Absolutely did
a big very close.
What a bunch of...
Literally so fucking stupid. Imagine having something that makes you so much money and then going, actually, I don't want it.
It's dumb. It's the big banks. It's the men in suits.
It's not us, I promise.
It was, I mean, I guess they got strong-armed by, like... because it made literally zero sense to everyone apart from the big banks who are like, "Oh, sex work, not my cup of tea. We're old frugal men who are
old white men
hate women.
Old white men that hate women and sex and the female orgasm." But
apart from unless it's behind closed doors.
Oh obviously. Yeah, no, unless it's someone that they've pressured into that situation.
Unless it's children. Because they're all fucking nonsense.
I mean,
might cut that bit out. I'm just so
I think,
in
look,
it.
you
where
said
I'm
it
just
with your
convinced.
chest. At this point, do you know, there is more supporting evidence than evidence against it.
Exactly.
And let's use Occam's razor. All the bankers are nonsense.
Prince Andrew is going to be on the next episode, everyone.
Prince Andrew is a nonce, and I actually will not hear otherwise. I really won't. You can message. I'm so tempted to give my Instagram. Like, you can message me and tell me that Prince Andrew is not a nonce, and I will tell you that you're wrong.
I mean, I thought the Prince Andrew. It was like, yeah, he definitely is. But now,
Have you seen the Jeffrey Epstein documentary?
I pretty much know the majority of what's already in the documentary. So for my own sanity,
Yeah, no. Well,
I've avoided it so far.
I, again, as a true crime whore, I loved it. I thought it was done so well. But also, everyone's a paedophile.
Like,
Although actually, I'm gonna take it a little bit further, but not about nonsense. I was having a conversation with my ex earlier, different ex. Apparently, I like to surround myself with ex-boyfriends. Anyway, I think the aliens are real, but
okay, this is the last thing I was expecting you to say.
okay, I was just thinking conspiracy theories. This is one that I really do believe. I think that this is going to sound so stupid.
Are you about to tell me you're a Scientologist?
Fuck no.
Are you Tom Cruise?
Do I look like Tom Cruise? I wish. I'd be so rich. No, I think the aliens are real, and I think that they're living in the ocean. This
All
is
right, I'm
the
going to
most...
start the podcast here, actually. This is enough.
It's the answer, I promise.
Have you got like a brief explanation?
The majority of the sea is undiscovered, okay?
True.
And then we have like bits of weird information where aliens could potentially be the answer. So, did they ever leave? I don't think so. I also want to back myself up. I do have a degree in critical thinking. I just don't use it for shit like this.
I do want to say that I'm not fucking crazy.
I'm not dumb. I can think. I also just think the aliens are in the ocean. I don't know what to tell you.
Oh no. I mean, I don't have enough knowledge to decide
Look,
that.
I don't even want to explain myself. I just want people to take me at my word.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's
just tell me I'm right.
not quite how it works,
That-
but yeah.
I'd like to hark back to my god complex.
You either agree with me or you're a misogynist.
Yeah, you literally either aliens are in the sea or you hate women. It's up to you.
Fuck's sake. Well, my only comment is there's two terrifying prospects for me. One, we're alone in the universe, and two, we're not alone in the universe. Both those make me poo a little bit.
I like the not alone one more than the alone one.
Yeah,
I'd rather have other people out there.
but it's
Or
like there's
beings.
always interesting stuff. I mean, a lot of sci-fi writing has just given us the ability to think of every possible like scenario of like, oh, are we actually all, on a fucking enclosure and we're constantly being monitored by an advanced race.
A fucking... What's it called? What's it called?
I don't know, you're cleverer than me. What?
Oh, it begins with S. Where life isn't real. A simulation theory. That's what I was thinking of.
Oh, I knew that.
Yeah, I know.
Life is simulation.
I'm not that smart.
That's why
Fucking hell.
that's what derealization comes from, is when we
It's
desync from the
because you
simulation
realise we're in the
momentarily.
simulation.
Everyone knows that.
I hope life isn't real. I hope
If
it's
you
a
stop
simulation.
sleeping, they physically can't keep you in a simulation. That's how it works. So if you stay awake, you escape the simulation. Quick,
This
stop.
is not
The door- someone's
medical
at the door.
advice. Please don't do that.
It's the FBI.
I don't want you to give anyone a serious illness from not sleeping.
They found me. FBI, open up.
I love it. I love a little bit of wacky philosophy. I semi-read a paper on zombies a few weeks ago.
That's pretty interesting. That's super interesting. Does that fall in... I've recently discovered a new type of philosophy. Ridiculousism? No, that doesn't sound right, but I will make that.
No, I know what you're trying to reference.
Oh, absurdism?
Yes, that's it.
Yeah. That seems pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I fuck with it. I like it. I think it's a bit... I like something a bit light-hearted.
Can you explain it to me in baby words? Because I just like the concept of it.
I don't know if it means exactly what we think it means, but it is a good...
Does it just mean stuff's crazy? Oh, that's crazy.
Oh my god, I can't believe it.
That's crazy. That's all the philosophers are. No, the only things I've really dabbled in are obviously existentialism, because...
Oh yeah, that's hot.
That's the primal...
It's the most recent philosophy.
It's the most that aligns with my anxieties, so I should probably stop looking into it. That and Stoicism.
Stoicism, I have not done much work into.
All I know is
existentialism, though, I adore. Although I do hate Jean-Paul Sartre. Jean-Paul Sartre. Do you know what? Okay, I wrote an essay in my first year. I'm shaking my head. I'm getting sassy. I wrote an essay in my first year for 20th century philosophy on Jean-Paul Sartre, who is the founder of existentialism, and the fact that he sexually assaulted people, basically, and was a massive dick.
Oh.
And I got marked down because I wrote it for a lady that fucking loves Jean-Paul Sartre, and I was like, I'm sorry that he's a wanker.
I mean, I think wanker's an understatement. He's a serial rapist.
I don't think serial rape, well, it's kind of convoluted. It was him and Simone de Beauvoir. There was like a couple of students came forward being like...
There was no CCTV or anything.
It's like the 40s. Definitely no CCTV.
That was the joke! That was my bit!
Look, I like flipping it back and making you look stupid. I'm sorry.
Thanks.
But actual philosophical theory, even though he's a wanker, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Do you want...
Give me a... Yeah.
Trying to re-explain philosophy is really hard.
Without, like, 2,000 words.
Yeah, I know.
Well, that's the thing. Like, if someone, like... I can say, like, yeah, I like Kierkegaard and... Nietzsche.
Yeah.
See, I was saying Nietzsche this whole time.
Nietzsche.
But, like, and he's... Oh, is he... No, I can't remember. But I just, like, know things that they say, and I'm like, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Like, if someone actually told me to explain, like, a philosopher...
It's hard. It's hard.
Like,
even when people are like, what is philosophy? Before I went to uni, I had two people separately from one another. When I said, I'm doing philosophy, they said, is that learning to read minds? And I was like,
Ugh.
No. Although, I am a massive hippie, so maybe.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
It gets confused with psychology, I guess.
It does. I won't comment on psychology because... You know, my mum said if I don't have anything nice to say, to not say anything at all. So, existentialism. I'll read you what it says here and then I'll explain it. A philosophical theory or approach which emphasises the existence of the individual person as a free and responsible agent determining their own development through acts of the will. Basically, we all have free will, and that's fucking terrifying. So Sartre said at one point, he was like, so when you're on like a cliff and you're looking down, it's not the falling that's scary, it's the fact that you could jump.
Oh, no. Oh, not... oh.
Sorry.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, obviously, like, yeah, that makes complete sense.
He wrote Being and Nothingness, which I do actually recommend. It is a good read.
He does sound a lot similar to my old boy Soren. Like, he talks a lot about...
They're buddies. I'm pretty sure he based... Oh my God, I really hope that no other philosophy student listens to this, but I think Sartre based some of his work off of Kierkegaard.
We can say... I mean,
philosophy.
I'm thick.
Well, not really.
I just read a couple books. You've actually got a degree, so actually you have liability. I don't. I can
Yeah,
say
but no,
what
that's
I want.
worse. That's worse. Yeah, exactly. You can be like, oh no, I made a mistake.
Oh, no.
I fuck up and people are like, return your degree. Yeah. You don't deserve it.
You're in debt for no reason.
This is why philosophers hate women. Yes, I know.
I know they do.
I really wanted to talk about this. So Sartre wrote a play, and the play's basically, it's only a few pages long. I'll email it to you later because you would actually really enjoy it.
I don't read.
Because you can't or because you won't. Stupid.
If there's no 4G, then I can read.
Basically, it's based in purgatory and there's 3 people and they all kind of ignite a reaction within one another of things that they want socially. So a lot of Sartre's work is about abandoning the concept of the self, that like the way you were perceived and shit doesn't fucking matter, you just need to let it go. But these people are stuck in purgatory because they keep performing for the other people and they can't get out of that because they've trapped themselves within the self and they can't get out. And it is like I think one's like very promiscuous, one's a war deserter, and I can't remember what the third one is, but it's like an interesting social narrative on basically performative culture, which I think is still quite relevant.
Fancy talk for caring what people think.
Yeah. Don't give a fuck. Like I said, it's the biggest thing philosophy can teach you. Don't give a fuck.
I mean, there obviously is, and this is back to self-help gurus have watered that down so much that it does come down to to the point where it's like, don't care what other people think because they're going to think anyway. So why don't you just not? And it's like, I mean, it is true. Harder than you think for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I do have bouts. I mean, luckily, I say luckily in quotations, I was bullied as a kid. So I had to not care.
You didn't really get given an option.
So now I'm like, I can do whatever I want, pretty much. But sometimes I accidentally start caring and it's scary.
I was talking to Ashley actually, and she said that I was bullied in school, but I don't remember being bullied in school. So
I bullied you in school.
I like to think that I never gave enough of a fuck to be bullied, to be honest. But I very much operate.
I mean, I didn't know who you were, but not surrogate, that's the wrong word. Via other people, I already knew you were one to not care.
Yeah. And I like that. It gives me a bit of power. And it's really like the best way to describe it is that I live quite selfishly. In a sense,
do you think you're God?
I mean, obviously,
God is a woman.
God is a woman, and it is me. Like, I don't know what to tell you. But no, like I would never. Again, like you said, it's much easier said than done. But I just would never do something that wouldn't serve me in some way. And that is not to say that like I would never do something uncomfortable to help someone else. Like the people I love, I'm extremely protective of, and I will go to hell and high water to do what I can for them. Like I wouldn't not put myself in pain to help them, if that makes sense.
I mean, you're without coining 2021 terms, but you're an empath. You know,
I guess
you feel basic compassion for other people.
I'm not a sociopath,
which a lot of people seem to struggle with.
But I wouldn't like the way I dress, the way I act, what I do, like the whole sex work thing. I put all my cards on the table very, very early on. Like there's not you can't talk to the people in my life and be like, oh my god, I heard that Millie did that, because everyone already fucking knows, because I don't give a fuck. Exactly. Like
tattooed it on me.
Yeah.
Like,
she put up a billboard. Literally half of England knows what she's done.
Her OnlyFans is tattooed across her chest right now. You know,
that's the best kind of marketing. But yeah, no, I don't. And I think I remember in A-levels I had someone come up to me and they were like, you're a scary person. And I'm like, yeah, probably, because I don't, like, I'm not going to dance around anyone. I'm not going to sit there and...
I mean,
if someone fucks me off, they will absolutely know about it so quickly.
Confrontational.
Yeah, well...
Unapologetic.
Yeah.
And
but also, I will say if I'm wrong. Like, if I do something and I'm like, shit, that was not the right result, I will go back and be like, I am sorry.
I've helped you realize you've been wrong, and you've also been like,
Never happened.
I don't want to say it. Yeah. I was like, I hate this.
Yeah, no, I remember that as me, is you being like, I don't think you've got this one right. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. Bollocks.
Maybe you're right, but fuck.
That's valuable to me. Like, I consider you one of my closest friends just because I know that you will absolutely pull me up for my shit if I don't have it right. And that is so, like, I don't want yes men. I want people that will sit me down and tell me how it is.
Yeah, and a lot of people, and this is a good thing, and you probably do the same thing, is you lose friends because of that. But fucking hell, like, thank God.
I'm losing friends currently because I've shifted my focus within myself away from my behaviour and towards my mental health, which has made a lot of people unhappy because, I mean, I don't want to brag, but I'm a big energy, and then when I'm not in someone's life, they feel it. But also the result of that is that they don't think I'm friends with them, and it's like, that's actually not what happened. But that reaction in and of itself speaks volumes as to their value of me.
So it's just more people being bothered by
my
your
absence.
change in presence.
Yeah. Which is fine. Like, I get it. I'm amazing. But at the same time, these people, I thought, if Amy and Tegan listen to this, I'm not talking about you. But people, I don't know, there seems to be, so my closest friends will sit there and be like, oh, Millie's been really quiet. She's been really withdrawn. She just needs space. And then there's a group of people that hear my quietness and go, oh my God, she's so rude. And it's like, interesting. Things
speak volumes when someone gets offended by your actions, even when they're like, they don't affect them. You know, it speaks volumes about them.
Yeah.
A very foreign concept to me is like, just like certain levels of expectation in friendships. You know, several times, like a new friend I'll make will just have like this weird expectation for me to be a certain way with them.
Yeah.
And I'm like so foreign to it. And I know, and I understand that some people need that. Some people need certain types of friendships, certain types of dependencies. Don't quite agree with kind of codependency. That's a bit fucked up.
Yes,
but like,
that's toxic.
Being in a position where you expect a certain thing from someone else just because there's a friendship between you. And I guess even on a relationship level, even on a family level, can get a bit bogus quickly. You know, it's the same thing where it's like I love this resurgence of like, you have no liability, you have no responsibility to
anyone else.
To anyone else, you know. At the end of the day, like, I've been told, God, this is going to be the weirdest flex, but I have like a lot of people around me, you know. I think I have a lot of friends at different distances, and that's absolutely fine. And I give like the same energy to everyone, you know. You're
a consistent person.
I don't wake up in the morning and I'm like, right,
I'm going to pick my personality.
I've got to say good morning to you and ask how you are.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, but like at the same time, if I notice a behavioural change in a friend, I will ask them how they are. You know, there's different things. But that's not what I'm trying to talk about more. I'm just trying to communicate the fact that I've met people, not quite recently, but in my life where... And sometimes there are these wires cross moments where people are just, they think like, oh, because you don't do this exact thing, you don't care about me. And so I've taken a break from philosophy books and I've been reading Pride and Prejudice because I fucking love
You
the
love
film.
Pride and Prejudice.
I love. Yeah. And one thing, I love how fucking stupid Mr. Darcy is, but at the same time how...
He's kind of hot,
based
though.
as fuck he is. But it's the way, like, his approach to Elizabeth was like, it's all background, you know?
Yeah.
He does these little things to just affect her life in monumental ways that she doesn't even realise. So she just hates him the whole time because she just assumes he's a prick. When actually, he's doing all these little things.
He's pushing dominoes. He's making shit happen. Yeah.
And I think that is like, I know it's kind of like in the film it's twisted in a way that it's like, and in the book it's twisted in a way where it's like he's got to be present, you know, he's actually got to communicate, and that's completely true. But I think even with like, there's this weird level with friendships where it's like, I fucking, you know, I got my best friend who I'll tell everything to, but I'm not going to post happy birthday on your wall on Facebook. Sorry. If that's a thing that you're expecting in this friendship, then we are not seeing the same thing, you know? And it's just, there
needs to be boundaries in friendships, just like there are in romantic relationships, as to the expectations of other people. But people that, you know, it's okay to value social media interaction as one of the things that you want from your friendships, but ultimately if like you're not that person, so if someone in a friendship with you is like, oh my god, I can't believe you didn't post on Facebook saying happy birthday, then it's just not a compatible friendship. Like there's not, you're not going to put out things that they quote need, especially when I mean, let's be honest, it's quite a shallow need from a friendship. There's not really anything of depth there.
That was, I mean, it was a prime example of like, there's multiple other
it's
examples, but
my friendship group is getting smaller drastically. Like I have a lot of friends, but I have very few close friends, and like the ability to not talk to them is so central to me. Like I need to be able to shut up for months and know that when I come back nothing will change. Like, I
mean, some of my closest friends I fucking barely talk to, you know.
I mean, I talk to you a lot, but that's because I run my mouth, so...
I think, is that a lot to you? Because I have people in my life who I'm very close to at the moment, and I feel like we talk all the time.
Yeah.
And then they might be like, wow, we don't talk much. I'm like, really? Because like, my best mate who like I tell everything to, I speak to probably once every 4 months.
Oh my fucking god!
Not that extreme, but like
as a roundabout measure.
Yeah, and well, it's like I'm trying to think of an example, and there's no point me dropping names, but I have a friend who's just moved down south.
What, south?
South, I think, Dorset or Devon.
Yeah, that's south.
And we had like, you know, we made a joke, we're like brain twins, you know, we can talk about the same shit and just be like, whoa, okay, I understand.
Soulmates, baby, soulmates.
You know, and I love the man. Like if I was ever wanting to explore anything, you know, it would be with him. I know instantly you're thinking sexually. I'm meaning sexually, spiritually, even creatively.
Literally,
you know,
literally a soulmate. But yeah, carry on.
Yeah. So like the last time he visited, we just we got my Bluetooth speaker, and then we went down to, just before you go into Bedford, there's Old Warden.
Yeah.
And in Old Warden, there's an old train tunnel that you can break into.
That's really cool.
It's like 400 meters long or something like that.
I don't know how numbers work.
Okay. Oh yeah, philosophy only.
Yeah, look, I passed my maths GCSE after 4 goes, okay? I'm so sure I have this calculator. I don't understand numbers. Can you give me a measurement? Is it like here to Tesco?
Yeah.
Okay, that's quite long.
I don't know. It's pretty long. It's long enough that when you're in the middle, the light both ends are just dots.
I hate that.
But we went at night, so you couldn't even see the light both ends.
Haunted. What about the ghosts?
There weren't ghosts. The only thing I was concerned about the bats, but I didn't see any.
No bats.
Because I don't want to hurt any bats. I feel bad.
Oh.
But we sat down.
I would 1v1 a ghost though. Sorry, carry on.
It might be. For fuck's sake. I'm trying to be deep here.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. You went into the middle of the tunnel.
We had this
with your soulmate.
We had this moment, me and my soulmate hanging out, and just put some music on, and we just listened to like, and not like just like, I have a chronic addiction to ambient music at the moment, even though it probably puts me in a worse place than it puts me in a better place because of...
It's giving you some disconnect.
You know, I'm just... If any music's going to make you dissociate, it's that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But anyway, so we were just listening to ambient, and it's like... So he was just that friend in my life who was like, I can do that with, you know? And half the reason I started, like the other half to you bullying me into starting this podcast, the other half was the fact that we would have conversations where it was like two white guys wanting to record themselves, thinking their opinions matter, but genuinely, like, I was convinced the things we were saying, I was just like,
they need to be heard.
yeah, like literally, like I was I'm saving brain, like, thought nuggets. There's like because you read into enough philosophy, you start to build out your own philosophy, because that's basically all philosophy is. It's a giant trading game of opinions and ideas.
Yep.
And I want to talk about a lot of the stuff that's in my head case, but it's like I need it to be with Connor, because Connor can match the energy, and we can both, like, I'm convinced if we ever speak, it'll be like a 4-hour podcast if we decide to do
special
it.
Edition.
You know, I'll put that behind the paywall along with the Nonce podcast.
I only upload half of it, stop it in the middle of something really intense, and then make everyone pay for the second half.
Legit. I'm so, like, part of me is like, do I cut all the Nonce chat, or at least dilute the Nonce chat?
I mean, I wouldn't blame you. I think this part of the conversation is much more valuable.
It was heavy.
I, like, going back to the soulmate thing, at this point, get a little bit of a shoe-in with Lib here, but like, I would consider her my soulmate as well. And that connection is so incredibly, like, rare and special to have with anyone.
Yeah.
And recently, so with my recent partner, I'm quite close with his best mate, and I get a similar feeling, but also the more that I contemplate, now that I'm on the other side of the relationship, like outside of the relationship now, and I think about the behaviours and connection that me and him have, me and my ex, not me and his friend, I think it's hard, because I think there might be a lot of different forms of soulmate that make you feel different ways. Like, I'm still such good friends with him, and I would walk the earth for him for sure, but it's not like, it doesn't feel like an entirely, this is going to sound really shitty, but like a lot of my past relationships have felt very replaceable quite easily. And this does not feel replaceable, and I do have a specific connection with it. Like, there was a point in our relationship where we were so in each other's brains that it was like, he would say something very obscure and very weird, and I'd be like, I know exactly what you're saying, like, exactly verbatim. I know what it is that you're saying. But it's, you know, there's never a run out of conversation. Like, he doesn't study philosophy, but he's very philosophical. He does music, so that, I mean, there's quite a
philosophical musician. How insufferable.
I know. It's so faux deep. No, he's obviously I can sit here and lament until the cows come home about how amazing I think he is, but I think connections like that with people are rare, and if you ever find that with anyone at any point in time, it is important to do what you can to try and keep that in your life.
Do you not think it would be a natural thing for it to just naturally keep? Because also, I'm going to dabble a little bit in my brain concepts that I've been having with my brains, but so obviously, like, I've been thinking of soulmates as a concept, love as a concept, and connection as a concept, dependency as a concept, attachment, all of these things. I had a therapist. I've had 11 therapists. So
holy fucking shit! You are going through them.
Around about number 7, I was talking to a attachment therapist, because at one point we were talking about the idea of attachment disorder, and that opened up a can of worms in terms of just making me think about how attachment works in general, and how, because love is real. Is it real? I don't know. Love is a chemical. All of these, you can open up. Is it a scientific thing? Is it a basic human need? Is it where does it fit in the pyramid?
Hierarchy of needs?
And there's all these things where, like, because I'm a big sensitive baby, and saying the 3 words "I love you" it makes me
heavy.
Like, literally, as I like.
It's not for you, that.
It's tough, but for some reason, but at the same time, I'm someone who's like, love isn't real, It's all it is finding the right person, individual that fulfills a certain need, philosophy, prophecy, and but anyway, so I think a lot about kind of how people in your life, and it sounds, the way I describe it sounds a bit fucked, but serves a different purpose for you.
I don't think that sounds fucked
but
at
like
all.
obviously, because a lot of people, there's this huge misconception, I think, where a lot of people are absolutely terrified of being used.
Yeah.
Understanding that the fact that the majority of friendships are a use thing.
Yeah.
Down so that if you strip it down, it's like
you're getting things out of people.
Yeah.
And you're giving things to people. Like
Yeah. I think the main thing is to make sure you're on the same page about it. So when I do think about like connection, intimacy, and stuff like that, it is super important for me to decipher exactly what. So if you wanted to get into the concept of,
you want to know where the lines are, basically.
Yeah, not in a sense of like strings, responsibilities, but more on like an emotional level, in terms of like
you want to know your love's returned in that sense.
No, that kind of gets into deep rooted psychological things.
Continue what you're going to say, it will come to light.
Yeah, so I think a lot about, so if I wanted to reflect on previous partners as a prime example, but even previous friendships, is that certain people, the feelings I felt for each one of my partners was completely different.
Yeah.
So who is one to judge what love is when every time you feel love in quotation marks, it's in a different capacity, you know? And then that's when you decide what level is love from. Like, you know, how do you decipher between romantic love and platonic love, and is there a line? Is it a spectrum? You know, and I've found myself getting so consumed by these concepts constantly, and you know, existentialism, having too much time overthinking puts you in these positions. But when I think back to why I connect with a lot of people and have a lot of friends, is because I've stripped down this concept of when you meet people, the expectations you have with them, the expectations of feelings and emotions you're going to have with certain individuals in your life. Everything blurs, you know. Yeah. This is when I even start getting to the point where I'm like, sexuality isn't real. Don't label it.
Yeah, it's definitely not real.
All of this sort of stuff is like, because there's a point where, where is the line when like my best friend might actually be so much more, but you know, and then it's vice versa. It's like, is someone who I'm thinking is this romantic
partner is just a friend,
is actually just someone I'm feeling very intensely for in a different way.
I think at least my stance on it is less of aside from the soulmate thing where you meet a person and you're like straight away, that whether it's romantic or platonic, you're just like, this is a person where, you know, I get along with them so well. They are such a reflection of myself. I value them so intensely. Aside from stuff like that, I believe that any relationship you have is exactly what you make it. So fundamentally, foundationally, everyone, let's assume, is just friends.
Yeah.
You will meet people that will connect with you more, or that will reflect you more, or will have a way of getting things out of you, like deep personal things, and build a relationship with you like that. Like, I don't think that it is a matter of every relationship is presented to you in a certain way, like on a plate, and rather you get given what you get given, and then it's up to you what you make with that person. So
it's the energy you put in is the energy you get back.
Yeah, for sure. Like
an extent.
You know, I perhaps foolishly still think that me and my recent ex will get back together at some point. That is my belief, just because that reflects my view on how relationships form and stuff. Like, I think that the foundation and the connection that is had there automatically is something that is worth watering into something that could become more. But also that is not, obviously, sadly, not only my decision.
Yeah, it's a shared decision.
It takes two. But like I said, like I think he might be a soulmate in a different form, and I'm happy to just have him there.
Yeah.
Yeah, same with Libby. Like that was a platonic soulmate thing where like I really think to have a comfy silence with someone is invaluable.
Yeah.
Especially when you're a chatty Cathy like me. Chatty Cathy.
Oh.
But it is also terrifying because you don't know what you're going to get back. It is a little bit of a lucky dip. You don't know if you're going to put your trust in the right people or not. But I think it then harks back to my whole theory of selfishness, where like if you can care for yourself more than anyone else can ever care for you, you automatically have alleviated that particular issue, in my opinion at least.
Yes, something I really admire about you is that you, and like you say, you put all the cars down straight from the rip, you know? Like, so to a lot of people it's 0 to 100, and what I can imagine, because I can imagine talking to you when I first met you, it was like, oh, whoa, this is this person, this is exactly who she is, she's just giving me
bang,
everything.
bang, bang, I've given you everything,
all
you
the
know
hottest,
it all.
right, she's this, that, we've got everything. I was very welcoming, and I was like, yeah, cool person in my life, come on in.
And you're welcome.
There's a seat there. These are my other cool people in my life, you know, and that's it. But I can imagine you will get people who will be like, oh,
what the fuck is that? Yeah.
Oh, and so I think I play the game a bit differently, because I have a lot of people in my life who are very different, who come from very different backgrounds, to the point where I've kind of always thought of the concept of a social chameleon in this aspect where, and this is like the reason I started this podcast almost, well, one of the many, was that I was really fascinated to get, like, I'm already fascinated. I look back on my previous podcasts and see how different every person I've already spoken to is.
It is a different experience every single week.
And
it's a different experience.
And how different I've noticed I've been around every single person as well. I feel like I've been able to talk about different things in different aspects. Like, I got people in my life. I remember I had this stage in my life where I was like, oh, sick. I've got, like, when I made my first road man friend, when I was like, you know, like, we sitting yet? And I was like, bro, and like when I first Mate Boy comes up in his True Religion jeans,
hot,
and his Air Max 95s,
very hot,
and he's like, his Just Do It like shorter bag, and he's not trying to stab me. He's actually like, oh, safe, Matt. What are you saying? And I'm like, I
made it,
I am
baby.
not that person, man.
Yeah.
Like, bro, don't meet my other friends, because you will realize I am not the person. And then I can go, you know, like, I don't know if that's something that you end up missing out on because you put all the cards on your table. Because I play my cards in a way to make sure I don't get hurt for a start, but also that I have the ability. So not really from a philosopher, but the late and great Christopher McCandless once said, the core of a man's spirit, not trying to be deep. Sexist, is
okay, sexist
because it's men.
Men.
The core of man in the unisexual sense, the core of a person's spirit is built on new experiences, and that's I've taken to extremities to even the people I've met.
Yeah.
And then this is also the same thing where people end up getting stuck and like, mate, we can call back again. So like insult culture, where I would make sure I've always had people with different opinions, you know, everywhere. As much as like, I mean, I'm pretty far left, but like I do actually have right wing friends, and some of them we do scrap occasionally because you know you have to.
You need to get into it sometimes.
I feel like you will always, especially in the mud of everything, you need opinions, and you need to be reminded, at least,
Yeah.
that some people are wrong.
It's my life every day, Matt. Everyone's wrong.
Yeah, but like, so I always make sure that I have a network of people who don't all think the same thing.
Yeah.
Because,
It's not healthy.
yeah, but at the same time, it has put me in a predicament where identity gets strange, and where you can easily put your cards on the table and be like, this is who I am, and then everyone's either going to welcome you
Get
with
with the
warm
program
arms,
or fuck off.
or they're going to dip. In my case, it's like sometimes I'm like a couple years into a relationship or a friendship, and I'm like, ooh, actually, this card here you go. How do you feel about this card I've just handed you? And
do you like it? Is it
like,
pretty?
Here's the mostly it's the trauma card. You bring that out and you're like,
yeah, yeah.
and then they're like, don't know how to react to that, and I'm like,
Yeah, that's a bit crushing.
yeah. Yeah, it can be friends, family. Family's definitely the hardest. But
I've had that experience recently where I've had to enlighten my family as to certain things.
yeah, I think
that's a rough
I've been
one.
the same. I'm still struggling with that, but
It's fine. We've got each other.
we move. It's every day, bro.
It really is. I think you are right. Like, I do miss out on a lot because I refuse to change myself. But also, if it's like a fundamental change where I've got something wrong, where like I have a behaviour or something that's biting me in the arse, I'm like, okay, time to alter that. Like, I don't have a problem changing myself.
I mean, I
have a problem with. I think the biggest thing is that I value honesty above literally everything else. I couldn't care what is going on as long as you're honest. It's almost always solvable. Like, it's so hard to get on my wrong side. 100% of the way to do that is to lie to me about something, or to not be upfront. I couldn't give a fuck what anyone is up to. If you've gone behind my back, you've done something that's clearly an issue, you know. Like, the personalities and stuff that I have in my life, like, I have a lot of friends that are very much into rave culture, which I liked for a minute.
I tried to like.
I don't do drugs. I mean, I smoke my silly little weed and I drink, but like, other than that, but I like the music. I like dancing.
Yeah. I like the dancing, but I literally don't do anything, so it's hard.
We can go together. I'll go sober with you.
Oh God.
But I have seriously academic friends who are like, they're so fucking smart. You think I'm smart? Fuck me.
Big brains.
Big fucking brains. I have stoner friends. I have, you know, they do all kind of fall into the same category in one way or another, but above all is honesty for me. Like, I don't care, you know, what you look like, what you're into, what you're doing.
If your friends were like, the question, what music do you listen to? I listen to everything. That's your friends.
Yeah. I mean, they all have very. I like personalities. I like big personalities, like individuals. That like, I think you and your sister are both individuals. I really enjoy talking to your sister whenever I do tiny little catch ups. But like, people that have an identity or that give a fuck about something, like, it's the crushed grey velvet, I'm so sorry, but Hertfordshire people that make me want to smack my head off a wall. I just can't handle it.
Yeah, I hate Biggleswade. Shout out Biggleswade, I hate you.
Shout out Biggleswade, it's
but
a
like,
shithole.
a lot of my most recent and also close friends are from Biggleswade, because
I'm so sorry for your loss.
The ones around here are lame as. No, I mean, I'm never. I do have what you would consider, like, I guess, two-dimensional friends in terms of, and I mean, it's purely from an envious standpoint that those people can live like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, close-mindedness, I think, is the hardest thing for me to get along with. Luckily, a lot of the people in my life are very much open to what I have to say.
Yeah.
They will take my hot takes on board, because I do have way too many of them. And Yeah, I mean, as long as someone accepts my energy, I'll find a way to accept theirs in most cases, unless,
I think that's fair.
you're
I think
a piece
that's
of
very
shit,
fair.
but then, that's when you
You don't want to surround yourself with pieces of shit.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah, I mean, I think that, me putting all my cards on the table gives me a little bit of a lackluster kind of, because I have the depth, but if I come straight at you and I'm like, XYZ, that's me.
Yeah.
Like, it probably can feel to people that either it's a facade, which thankfully it's not,
yeah, definitely.
or it's...
But anyone who thinks it's a facade
has automatically missed the point.
yeah, or it speaks volumes about them instead of you.
Yeah. Or they think it's like that there's nothing else to me, which I don't think is very fair. Like I like to think I'm big bollocks, but there is a sensitive side somewhere in there. But if anybody tells anyone that, I will fucking kill them. But I think about the people that I hate. Like I hate.
Yeah.
There's maybe 3. Everyone else I like chaos, I like drama. But
I found my when I was in year 6, I had a notebook, and at the back I had a hate and a like list. There was 4 people on the like list.
Oh.
The entire rest of the class was on
in
the
hate list. What, how old were you?
11, 10. How old are you in year 6? But yeah,
10,
I found
10.
that the other day. I think there's still like 4 people on that list. I'm like, yeah, I still think I hate this person.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I say I don't hold grudges. I do, but I can also
alleviate
pretend
them.
they're not there.
Yeah.
For the sake of, and it's nothing to do with the people who I have grudges against. It's more of a severe problem with not being able to forgive myself. So why on earth would I forgive
very
others?
insightful. That is very insightful. It's almost like he goes to therapy.
Get you a boy who goes to therapy and has podcasts.
The dream. See, I don't have that ability to. I can alleviate aggravations or slight dislikes in people, but
through confrontation or through just removing them.
Passivity. If I'm in the same social situation as someone that I dislike, but it's not a good enough reason for me to cause hell, then I will just let it go for the sake of everyone else there. Like, it's not worth me airing my beef and dragging everyone else down with me.
Yeah.
But for those 3 people that I fucking detest, I have before and I will again. I have absolutely 0 qualms causing shit in a very public place. It's not, as long as
hands will be thrown.
I am a pacifist. I would never throw hands. However, thankfully, thanks to my philosophy degree, I'm really fucking good with my words.
Verbal hands.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah. And for me at least, it's so hard to reach that point where I hate someone, where it's like, if you've reached that point, you are so deserving of whatever it is that I have to throw at you. But it is hard. I am nice.
You are very nice, and you're very understanding, and you're very compassionate.
But I am big and scary.
Let me just get my...
can you give me all the compliments,
Get me
please?
my milli compliments. Where are they? Let me just open my drawer.
Get the list out. I want to hear them all. I'm big and scary, but I'm also absolutely not big and scary. Once you get past the first bit where I lay all my cards down, and as long as you don't go to the bit where I fucking hate you, you're probably fine.
Well, that's the thing. Like, if in your case, you will make just as many enemies as you will friends.
I love drama,
and I think I have like some enemies. Probably there's people who I just will out. And I do
getting hate mail now.
Yeah. Nah, been there, done that. I was an active 4chan poster. I had plenty of hate mail. So words can't hurt me. My shades of Gucci.
Oh, you're so big and strong.
Oh. I've managed to just avoid. I've had so many like Christopher McCandless quotes, like I've avoided saying each one every time when you've given me an opportunity to almost say one.
Just do it.
I mean, Christopher, I can't remember who it is, Thoreau. He paraphrases Thoreau, I think, whoever that is. Don't
Stranger.
know. And he talked, because when you say like you really care about truth, that was a thing with Christopher.
I just don't think it's that hard, to be honest. I'm really sorry, but I don't.
Well, I think it's because, I mean, at least for, decent people, I think everyone is a decent person, and 99% of the time, anyone makes choices based on emotion and feeling, and to the best of their abilities, what will benefit, like, either just them or everyone.
Yeah.
I feel like I just put a bunch of words together and just chatted shit for a minute. But
I think it makes sense.
What I'm trying to say is, like, a lot of the people I hate, I think were, and from, at least from my childhood, and the reason I'm trying to not hold grudges against certain people is because it was brief moments where they treated me a certain way because they had heard a certain thing about me or had a certain opinion about me because of a preconceived notion.
Yeah.
And those people I can eventually
let go
of and be like, yeah. And I have, and I've got prime examples of that, and I'll shout them out again because we are good buds. My friend Mitchell, I'm pretty sure at one point we despised each other.
I have the same thing with Ashley.
Yeah, I despise Ashley as well, actually.
No, oh my god. Oh my god.
No, but yeah, but now we're pretty good friends.
I never despised Ashley. I just want to make that very fucking clear. There was bitchy shit between us, but I never despised her. Yeah. I'm sorry that we're not all awful like you. Yeah, but you're friends now.
But yeah, and that was a purely preconceived notion basis. And, there's other people I think I've either grown to enjoy their presence in cases and just, bury hatchets or whatever.
Yeah.
But then there's also people in my life who have done incredibly shitty things to the point where...
You could hit them with a car.
Yeah. God, that one's almost a bit too real.
Well, I mean, you could... Sorry.
And no, but yeah, more like I think there's certain people who, if they reached out now, I'd struggle to not confront them on the spot because I did my due diligence by just giving it,
yeah,
the space that I can cope with emotionally. But less about hating people. That speaks volumes for the people who I do keep around. Yeah,
I second that. I think that my friends all recognise the fact that I will bite someone's head off in a fucking flash. Like, if it's dirty old men in clubs is my fucking hunting ground. I love it. I want to make them cry. Same goes for like anyone that honestly even missteps slight, like it, especially in the like beginning parts of a friendship or a relationship or a chatting stage. If someone says something that I think is like fundamentally a cunt thing to say, sorry that was a bit far maybe, but I'll bite their heads off. I have absolutely no qualms.
Yeah, I mean,
people that I viscerally hate though, there are only 3 and I only have hated them in the past 3 years. Childhood hates, I don't really remember anyone I went to school with, to be honest.
That's a flex.
Thanks. Only like your sister and some of her friends, there's like little moments where you like talk to each other on Instagram and stuff, and I honestly value them quite highly. Like I think very highly of your sister and her friends.
Yeah, I mean, I think my sister's got a good group going
it's good
right
energy.
now. I mean, she's
vibes.
Split between a home group and an away group right now.
Obviously don't know the away group,
but yeah, you wouldn't. I barely do. No, I can't even remember what I was going to touch on before that. But
he's looking very puzzled. He's really trying to focus.
I don't know how I keep up with like conversations with anyone these days.
Yeah.
I've literally one of my biggest fears of starting this podcast again was the fear of learning how to talk again, because post COVID I've like gained a stutter. Like I've got a little bit of a stutter now. I get words muddled up.
I can say that I have not realised you having a stutter at all.
I've done a good job tonight.
I'm so proud of you.
There are momentary things where I'm like stop it.
An error.
Speech, you know.
Yeah.
No, I'm a bit enraged about what I just forgot to say. But yeah, this is to just get meta real quick. We are currently two hours deep, but I'm kind of just thinking we can go for like another 20 minutes and just I will probably cut out the erratic nonce. As hilarious as it was.
I did recently get diagnosed with ADHD. I have to just speak all the time. That's why when I came into your room and I was like, I'm such a visual person. I get my now ex-partner and his friends to take me on walks in the evenings. I'm like a dog and I need to just go outside and look at things. I'm just like, amazing. I must register, must see. But I also love it. I like seeing pretty things.
Yeah.
I just like taking appreciation in things that are around me.
I'm very aesthetic. That has always been something I've realised as a kid.
You should look at aesthetic philosophy. How stroke dies.
God. Yeah, I will look into... I mean...
I'll find you... I'll have a look.
Is that not just the arts?
What?
Is aesthetic philosophy not just appreciation of the arts, or is that...
No.
Is that like the next tier?
Okay, well, for consideration, I wrote an essay this year on whether pornography should be considered kitsch.
What's kitsch?
Kitsch is a form of art which is easily accessible and kind of void of any other emotion other than joy. So kitsch is also a colloquial term. Like, I don't know.
What else is kitsch?
Think like tourist magnets. You know those like weird China cats that wave their paw?
Oh, okay.
Like objects that just automatically bring joy and are devoid of any real critical thinking.
Or at least their purpose is
to bring joy. So I wrote, the opposing, well, not directly opposing, but opposing theory to kitsch is obscenity, especially when we're considering porn.
Oh my God, have we spoken about this before? Because I'm having hella deja vu right now.
We've never spoken about this before. Hey, that's how you know you're in the right place. I might have mentioned it in passing, but I doubt it. I've been busy.
God, I have a serious feeling you've made me like proofread something about this before.
Oh, actually, maybe.
Okay.
I'm also dyslexic.
As soon as you said, wait, what did you just say?
Obscenity.
Yeah, I was like, broom.
Well, I mean, well done for reading my essay, but basically that was an aesthetics essay. Okay. So, I mean, I'll finish saying what obscenity is so that we don't leave everyone else hanging, but obscenity is then the opposite of kitsch, where the cause is to shock and not displease, but, you know, it's not usually a pleasant feeling.
Like body horror.
Yeah. So I was like, I wrote my essay being like, porn makes people happy, therefore it is kitsch. Please give me my master's.
Okay. All right. Isn't there some porn that would be considered
obscene?
Obscene.
For sure. But like, for every argument that says, there is also an audience that would find the same resolution in that content as they would in standard pornography that brings about a kitsch response.
Okay.
God, I'm smart.
God, you're clever. So it's, yeah.
Matt's going to start crying any minute.
No, I just...
Go on.
No, I had like three things to say at the same time then, and they all got jumbled up on each other. First thing I was going to say was... the difference between kitsch and absurdity made me think about the difference between how during, at least for a male, during the consumption of porn, when you're committing acts upon yourself,
it's called masturbation.
Don't say that.
Oh my God.
open the window. But
during masturbation,
when you're doing bits, and then the standard terminology post nut clarity, where what your consumption is all of a sudden like, oh god, I'm watching
what the fuck
that.
Is that? Yeah.
Boom, it's absurdity. Do you know what I mean? Like there's like
a yeah. That was a very good point.
That was the thing that came into my brain. I don't know why. I don't know.
No, it's a really interesting point. It kind of like blurs the lines a bit. I'm going to go back and write another essay and send it to you to proofread.
And then does it? Yeah. Okay. Is it? And then does that like kind of the, where they're almost the same thing?
What, kitchen obscenity?
Yeah. Like
they are like very closely related.
Like what's the other thing? Like fear is love, love is fear. Is that the one? Art is life, so. Life makes art. Am I just pulling shit out my ass at this point?
Life imitates art.
It is midnight. Everything's on the table.
It's past Matt's bedtime.
It is past my. I wish it was. To be fair.
To be fair, you've been really busy. He's been up mountains, from what I can tell.
Only 2 this time.
Only 2. I'm a fat girl. I'm not going up any mountains ever.
No, I mean that's the whole thing. I could have like. If we ended up recording yesterday, I probably would have like just gone into shit about like that last trip for me. I struggled like fuck.
This one that just happened.
Yeah. My anxieties are at an all-time high.
Shit.
Lake District should be my happy place.
Not this time.
I've grown up there, and it's like I've always like. What's stupid is like seeing like luckily this isn't the kind of process anymore. But when I was a kid. Big doctor was like, when you're having a panic attack, just think of your happy place. And that was always, and thinking about that now, that's really fucking dumb. But back then it was for me as what, and a lot of people who are really close to me will understand when I talk about the Great Valley. It's a reference to a film that I was obsessed with as a kid called The Land Before Time, which basically teaches...
I have seen that.
Yeah.
For
it's
once.
Basically, what I've taken from it is that a child learns to live without mum, and or without the support of their mother, which is something I talk about with my therapist a lot. And so that's also a whole thing I didn't even realise until because I loved the film as a kid, didn't really understand why.
You didn't realise the correlation.
Yeah, but now, so in that film, said child is trying to get to the Great Valley, where there are these leaves, which I remember they make it look so good. Like I was like, I want to eat a leaf, eat a leaf, and like it had water on it, and I was like a leaf. But yeah, so the whole point is that they were trying to get to this Great Valley, and for me, I grew up in the Lake District more or less with my grandparents.
Your happy place.
My Great Valley is in the Lake District. To be specific, it's Buttermere. That always
literally sounds like a fairy tale.
It's so like I go there and it's like some of like, and then we can talk about the whole earliest memory thing. But that's a whole other
kettle of fish
thing we can talk about. But so can you please remind me what we were talking about? Oh my god!
I think we were talking about therapy safe spaces. Look, I said ADHD. I can't remember.
Yeah, you. I don't know why I'm asking you for help.
You're looking into the abyss by asking me for help.
No, so obviously I was at Lake District over the weekend, and this is just how fatigued I am. So obviously this whole, very toxic thing for a
child.
Professional to tell a child who's having anxiety problems is to think of your happy place, because from experience now, I'm like, the last thing you want to do is you want to manifest that where you are is your happy place.
Yeah.
You've never left your happy place.
It's
that's
not,
the thing,
it's not passing it off to somewhere else.
Don't, that's like, my problem.
That puts you in a state of constantly wishing. That's not going to help anybody.
Puts you in a state of constant escapism, which is currently what I'm battling with in the form of nostalgic return to nostalgia, return to your childhood. That's something that I'm always going to be.
At least you want to return to your childhood.
I mean, we can talk about that as
bits
well.
And bobs.
that's a half and half.
You can put that in the special trauma episode.
Yeah, so hang about for the 4-hour trauma episode coming directly after this.
Including live crying breaks.
Where we talk till the sun goes up, including ambient sessions where Matt just listens to music and cries.
We'll take live pictures of him on the floor.
In the fetal position.
Yeah,
well,
so escapism. So you're kind of like confronted with that then when you go back now.
So when I was in the Lake District recently, obviously, and my anxiety's been flaring up mainly because of, post-lockdown stuff and a lot of change that's happening in my life at the moment.
Yeah. I'm very proud of you, by the way.
Thanks, I guess.
Sorry.
Sorry, just caught the random. That's.
There's a bit of.
I gotta start crying. Oh, you caught me off guard with that. Can you just say that again, but slower?
I'm giggling.
Can you whisper it, please?
This is ASMR.
Actually, just send me a voice memo later so I can.
Oh well, you can save it.
I can have that as my toast notifications. But no, so obviously,
very anxious.
I'm in my supposed happy place, and it's full circle. Like I actually am in the place that I used to escape to.
Yeah.
And my anxiety is right here, reminding me
very blatant
that this is not enough.
No.
You know.
So it's both mentally and physically exhausting.
Yeah. So, and like I had like this moment where so I planned a route. Our house is the house we stay at. It sounds proper fucking. My sister gets bullied on TikTok over how posh this house we go to is, but it's all...
The video she took actually came up on my TikTok. I love it. And the pictures that I made you send me. Matt took some really nice pictures of where he was, and I messaged him. I was like, you need to send me that picture right now.
Literally, like...
He's like, I haven't got connection.
Like, so many people who, like, I'm not quite friends with were, like, messaging me, being like, yo, these shots are killer. And Harry down the road, my best friend, is like, we get it, you're in the Lake District. It's like, oh,
that sounds very typical.
That's very Harry. He's like, are you in the Lake District? But yeah... To roll it back, so there's this one specific day where it really was humbling. I mean, I fucking like my most recent anxiety relapse. I've cried a lot to what I'm used to, but it's because I'm in therapy. I'm trying to work on crying
it's a
because
good sign.
Toxic masculinity on top of all sorts of internalized trauma.
Yeah, like, heavy shit.
Cry
heavy
if you
shit.
can cry, man. Crying's a good thing. Every time I do, I'm like, fuck it, right, old Coldplay, what else can we put on? Marley and Me, come on, bring these tears.
You want to
get it out. Let's get it all out,
yeah.
And, but in this instance, like I remember, on this trip, I had to tactically cry every morning. And that's when it hit the hardest, because over the day I could kind of talk myself down, but in the mornings it was like 2 or 3 panic attacks in the space of like 4 hours.
Fuck, yeah.
And crying, not being able to eat anything. I'm so happy I slept. I actually slept on the trip, because by the time bedtime come around, I'd talk myself down. I could actually sleep. But
saving graces.
And I remember when we were trying to, because I wanted to do a big hike, because I'm trying to tick off all the mountains in the Lake District. I want to do all of them by the age of 30.
How many are there?
They're all right next to you, actually. I think there's 214.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Apparently I don't understand basic geography either. I didn't think that there were so many.
So technically there's probably more, but these are Wainwrights that have been coined by Mr. Wainwright himself.
I am presently looking at the map next to Matt's bed, and there are indeed a lot of fucking mountains. Holy fucking shit.
So I scratched the ones I do, which you can't probably see, and I can
just about see that.
I haven't done the ones from yet. I need to do that. When I kick you to the curb, I'll do that.
You make me homeless.
But yeah, I wanted to do this long hike, and I was barely making it to the first peak, and I was like, I put on my glacier glasses, which they cover my eyes completely, because I knew I might
cry.
Yeah, because it's debilitating, you lose your it's not just stripping you of your safety, but now that I'm in my happy place, it's stripping me from technically who I think I am. All of a sudden I'm like, wait,
you're very, very vulnerable.
So and I was climbing up this mountain. So I was a bit, you know, when I say, only 2 mountains, it's because I planned to do like 6.
Right.
And those 2 that I did were incredibly hard. And
well, I think like you can't underestimate how much of a physical toll your emotional. I mean, I guess pain really would be the only way to say
it. Especially as you get older.
You up.
The bounce back when I was younger, like I could have 6 panic attacks in a day, and then the next day I'd be right as rain.
Literally.
But now I'm like, nah, I need to.
That's the point that I reached with getting counselling, and then like I should be going into. Luckily, I'm so blessed to be able to have private therapy, but private therapy within the next like month is because even just a year ago, I could go through like Libby and all of that heavy trauma, and I'm like, it's fine. And then I just reached a point this year where I was like, actually, holy shit. And it's just like trying to, like with you with crying, it's kind of trying to let myself mourn and let myself be sad for that, and then also that wakes up my own childhood trauma, and then my childhood me needs to mourn as well. Apparently, everybody's fucking sad. Everyone
has to mourn. Is literally what my fucking therapist tells me.
Everybody does have to
all
mourn.
The time.
But I mean, only hot people have mental illnesses, so tell me I'm wrong. You cannot tell me I'm wrong.
Based.
But I mean, even though it was rough, the pictures are really pretty. And
at least I can show everyone on social media that I was having a whale of a time.
Yeah,
because I wasn't.
Everything traumatic that happens is a step toward, like, traumatic is in a sense of resolution, is a step towards understanding better anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you have to live through certain things to realise certain things. You know? And I'm forever grateful that I pushed myself to actually go and push myself to actually do things, because you can't get out of anxiety just by sitting still.
There,
we're
doing a good job.
We are, and we're all doing a good job.
We are,
you know, and like just to connect to kind of what you were talking about with your trauma and like how you've been mourning that. Like I have this weird, horrible feeling recently where, and this is getting to the point where I'm going to start saying stuff where I probably might cut this as well, because this is just because we're in the moment.
If you're going to cut anything, I'd rather you cut the Libby stuff, just because that's like
tense. Yeah, I might just split them in half and then show you the more tragic half, and you decide.
Give the people philosophy, give the people aliens in the ocean.
Yeah, because this has definitely just been a lot of actually just 2 friends catching up on shit that we...
Trauma.
On shit that we clearly have wanted to talk about, I feel like, for a while. But, and I'm not going to make it weird by signing this off, so I'll leave it at that. I'm not even giving myself satisfaction.